interesting side topic in Jewish history is, if you look at Jewish history, it is really composed of a series of trends or events. Each and every one of them is either unusual or unique, meaning only happened to a few people or only happened to the Jewish people. But they combine together to make a history unlike anyone else's history. If you stand back and objectively look at Jewish history, you'll see that there's no nation on the planet Earth that has a history like the Jewish people's. And there's so many examples that we're going to see as we go through Jewish history. But what's most fascinating of all, because that really is in and of itself kind of a great class, the weird and wonderful nature of Jewish history, that we seem to violate all the laws of history. But what's most fascinating about it, and this is where we see the unique interplay between Jewish history and the Bible, is as unique and weird and strange as Jewish history is, and therefore as seemingly unpredictable as it should be, because it violates all the laws of history and because there's so many contradictory forces working in it, it was in fact all predicted. And if you open up a Hebrew Bible, you see that the Bible contains hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of prophecies about what will be. And we now, living over 3,300 years after the Bible was given, can see that as strange as those predictions are, they either all have come true or they're in the process of coming true. And there's so many examples of it. But the whole notion, for instance, one of the most fundamental concepts in the Bible is that the Jews will be an eternal nation. And it makes sense in terms of the internal Jewish worldview that we have this unique mission in the world to civilize the world and bring the world back to God. So obviously we have to survive. But that same book also points out that we are going to be exiled and dispersed, which is not only an unusual concept, but one that totally contradicts the first idea. And then on top of it, it says the Jews will be few in number. So to be few in number and exiled and dispersed seems to be a guaranteed recipe for extinction. And then on top of that, it says not only be few in number and exiled and dispersed, but you're going to be exposed to the most intense hatred on the planet Earth, anti-Semitism. So on one hand, we're being told that the nation that's going to outlast everyone, the eternal nation, is going to be around forever, yet it's going to be exiled and dispersed, few in number, and hated by everyone, everywhere, and longer than anyone else. Such contradictory ideas. Yet we see that they're all predicted, and we look back through Jewish history, we see that they've all in fact come true. And then you could throw on top of that, it says that that same nation that everyone is going to hate and try and wipe out, it's going to be a light to nations. I mean, logically, who's going to want to follow the Jewish people? Throughout history, the most hated, despised nation. And it's not like the Jewish people will see have a great empire like the Greeks or Romans. They could conquer the world and stuff their worldview down their throat. Yet as we see in hindsight, arguably the teeny tiny Jewish people have had a much greater impact on the collective consciousness of humanity, far greater than the greatest civilizations and empires. And it's one of these fascinating little side points that we have to learn to be sensitive to when we look at the uniqueness of Jewish history. And really what it indicates on the highest level is that not only does Jewish history violate all the laws of human history, but there are much, much bigger things going on, even supernatural things going on. And as we go through Jewish history, we'll of course see many, many more examples of this.